Welcome to Scuderia Ferrari Racing News. On the eve of the Spanish Grand Prix, scheduled for the 22nd of May in Spain, we listen to the comments by Fernando Alonso on his home race.
Definitely it was important for us. We did not have the best start of the championship or the start we wanted, so we missed some opportunities in the first races to get the podium. So finally in Turkey we get the chance, and now after this podium in this part of the championship, after, as I said, all the difficulties, I think brings a huge boost for the team and more motivation to keep improving. Yeah, Vini Maranello again last week. Mainly some upgrades, some develops to do in the simulator for future parts in the car, and then also trying to get with the engineers and with the technicians the maximum information up for the first 4 races with in terms of a strategy, understanding the tires, etc., and then planning the approach for Barcelona and Monaco, because both races are together 2 weekends in a row, and we will not have much time between the races, so we try to prepare everything now. Yeah, obviously we experience this thing every year with us in Barcelona. A lot of days in winter, and then we arrive to the Grand Prix, and basically all the drivers we know perfectly the circuit because we did so many laps. Setup wise, all the teams has more or less a baseline setup for Barcelona after all the testing. But the biggest difference is normally the temperature. In winter we have very cold temperatures, ambient and asphalt. And now in the Grand Prix, normally at the end of May, there is a big change there. So there is little tweaks to do in the car, little setup adjustments regarding this change in the temperature. But it's a circuit that we all know very well and will be a good reference for the championship. Yeah, well, I think for me it's a unique feeling what I have in Barcelona in the home Grand Prix. Obviously there is huge motivation for me to do well in front of my people. But also there is some extra pressure, no doubts, because everybody is expecting a lot from you in that weekend and you have to deliver. So it's a nice pressure to have anyway, because I love the atmosphere there, even in free practice, in qualifying in the race. Every lap I do, I feel there are some emotional laps there, so looking forward. Best memory has to be 2006 victory in Barcelona. I did only once to win the home Grand Prix, and I think for any racing driver in Formula 1 it's a unique experience to win at home, and I had the luck to do it once, and I'm looking to repeat that feeling every year that I go to Barcelona, so hopefully this year can be another opportunity.
Let's listen to the anticipations of Felipe Massa on the race of this weekend in Spain.
Well, it was 2 days in the simulator, and also together with the simulator job, I had many meetings with the engineers, with the mechanics, to prepare everything happens in the Turkey, and to make the preparation for Barcelona, and even looking what didn't work in the good direction, and make everything a little bit more prepared to Barcelona in the pit stop. So we were working a lot, to improve the pit stop, which was not a good point in Turkey, but also to work on the car, the aerodynamic, engine, chassis, everything on the tires, direction to Barcelona, to make even another step forward. And I think that is always very important from one race to the other to make an improvement. Well, I think everybody needs to training, to improve the situation, to be a little bit preciser, and everybody needs to do the perfect job and consistent, because that doesn't mean you go and you do perfect pit stop and the other one is bad. So it's important to be consistent, and that's the direction which is important to the drivers, which is driving the car, but it's also important to the mechanics, to the engineer. Every procedure makes the pit stop perfect. Well, I think it was positive in the direction that we improve the car, we improve the aerodynamic from the car. So if you compare the other races, we were closer in the qualifying compared to the other races, and we made another step forward from qualifying to the race, which is important to say that if you improve the car even more in the qualifying, means that you can improve even more from qualifying to the race, and then you have the car to fight and in a very competitive way to fight even for the victory, which we saw in Turkey, that our pace was very good in the race, was very good compared to the guys who even won the race. They were a little bit better, but I mean we were much closer. Well, Barcelona is a track that everybody knows very well. It's a track that is not so different compared to Turkey, for example. Maybe you need a little bit more downforce there compared to Turkey because you have a little smaller straight, but you have a lot of important corners, high-speed corners, change of direction, very slow corners as well, which is important. Traction is important, braking, and I think that you know is a place that you need to improve the car a lot from the aerodynamic point of view, and I hope we can make another step forward to be even more competitive in Barcelona and Monaco compared to what we were until now. Yes, I think it will be different because of the new rules. We saw many overtakes in most of the races, some places more, some places less, but many overtakes and a big difference compared to the past. And I think this is good for the people, which is enjoying even much more the races. It's really, everything happens from the beginning to the end of the race, and even for the drivers. I mean, on the psychological point of view is very important. Physically, it's even maybe a bit easier than before because I mean the tires is, you know, you're changing a lot more the tires, and you have a lot more degradation, which in the corner makes the car sometimes a bit slower. So in the physical point of view is a bit easier, but in the psychological point of view is a little bit more difficult because everything happens. So you're never really consistent, good. You can lose or win positions even in the last lap of the race.
News from this program. Would you like to know what do the men of Scuderia Ferrari Marlboro think about each other? To find out, follow us. Today we listen to the face-to-face from Robert Smedley and Felipe Massa.
Name?
Felipe.
Rob.
Age?
30.
37.
Where were you born?
São Paulo.
In United Kingdom, in Middlesbrough.
Are you married?
Yes.
Yes, to Lucy.
What do you do in your free time?
Many things. I like to play football, I like to stay at home, I like to go to Brazil, I like to stay with the family, I like to play with my son, which is completely crazy now, running all the time, never stop. Simulator, stay with the family, with my wife. It's difficult to put everything in just in one word.
Free time I usually spend with my wife and the kids, and we do the garden, we do pretty boring things.
Describe your driver with one adjective.
Strong.
Which trait in him do you most appreciate?
He's very organized, even if it doesn't look like, and he's very good engineer.
I appreciate the fact that he's always ready to push, to fight. He never gives up.
What annoys you about him?
He's always asking me so many things, you know, all the time. Sometimes it's really pain.
Lots of things.
Who is the cleverest?
Me driving the car, and me making the setup of the car as well.
Me.
Who is the most handsome?
Me, but I'm a little bit too small, so maybe we're higher like him.
Well, he's a bit dark, you see. He's got more of a Latin look to him, but I think at the end I've got more of a classic handsomeness.
Who is the nicest?
Me, for sure.
Me, without a doubt.
Who wins at cards?
But we never played actually.
Him.
Who wins at football?
Me as Brazilian, can imagine English and Brazilian is no comparison.
He's younger, but I'm more skillful, so I think that we're pretty even at the minute.
Who has more success with the ladies?
It's difficult to say, because I mean, when I met him, he was already married, and I was very, very serious, you know. So it's difficult to say that. I don't know.
Well, listen, my career with the ladies finished a long time ago when I was married, so you better ask Felipe.
Who earns the most?
Don't know.
It's pretty easy. The driver always gets the most.
What is more important, the car or the driver?
I think the car is more important. You need a good car, otherwise you cannot do anything. But when you have a good car, the driver make the difference.
The car's linked to the engineer, so it has to be the most important thing.
Catching up through the field or managing a race from the front?
I think as a driver, catching up from the field is more fun, is better, so you enjoy most. But when you're fighting for the championship, when you know that the points is very important, and then you need also to do both very well, but catching up to the field is more fun.
It's always more enjoyable when you catch up from the back and you have a great result.
Press conference or technical briefing?
Technical briefing.
I don't like either.
Have you ever hit one other?
For fun, yes. On the serious side, no.
We've been very close at times.
Have you ever thought of doing so?
No.
I think about it all the time, most days.
How do you celebrate a win?
I think we are the best couple to celebrate the victory. I mean, we jumping completely, and we are very fun, and we enjoy a lot our life in the good side, but even in the difficult moments as well.
We go out together, we drink a lot like a pair of teenagers, and it usually finishes badly.
Who can list all the drink?
Me?
Him.
Have you ever played a trick on him?
Yes.
Yes, many times.
Him on you?
Yes.
Yes, too many times.
Say something you ever never told him.
Fuck off.
Listen, Caraglio, you have to win the next race.
The thing you say more frequently to him on the radio.
Well, he says many things on the radio, but now, this year, about the cars and about the movable rear wing.
Push, good boy, who's the daddy? You've got to do better, and many things that I can't really mention.
Did you hear, Rob? I'm as good as him, even better. Ciao.
If there's a track with no secrets, that one is Barcelona. This year, 8 days of testing for all teams. We take a lap with Marc Genet, test driver.
Yeah, Spanish Grand Prix, it's for Ferrari, for the sponsor, will be like a home Grand Prix, even though it's not. Clearly for Fernando and for myself, it's a home Grand Prix because the crowd there will be pushing like crazy for Ferrari and Fernando to win. It's a track that drivers and teams know very well because most of pre-season testing has been taking place in Barcelona. Very demanding on the front left tire, so very demanding for Pirelli. And has a long straight, whereby with the new rule of the rear wing movable, I expect to see a lot of overtaking at the end of the straight.
And that was all for this program. See you at the next Scuderia Ferrari Racing News.